Well, as prices for essentials like groceries continue to climb, millions of Americans are turning to food banks for relief. But now, those life-saving resources are also facing critical shortages. Gabe Cohen tells us why.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Jean Vaccarino has turned to food banks after months of choosing between groceries and her heart medicine.
I will probably be homeless by next year because of the rent has tripled.
She says she's been living on disability for the past few years, making it harder to make ends meet.
I can't buy clothes. I can't buy for my grandchildren. You can't buy anything. You know, it's day to day, and you just hope and pray for the best.
With rising inflation, the average American is spending nearly $500 more per month, including $78 more on food. Toughest for those living paycheck to paycheck. In a June poll, 60% of lower-income households said grocery prices were a major problem. So millions are turning to food banks for help. Some pantries say they're serving 50% more people than a year ago. Long lines in Phoenix mirror the worst days of the pandemic. In San Antonio, 1/3 of these people are here for the first time.
These are families that are working, but they are just not making enough to put food on the table at the end of the day.
Sometimes it's stressful and a struggle.
Jessica Yingling works at a nursing home, but she and her son still need this Maryland pantry.
Everything's more expensive and you're making the same amount that you were making before.
Bill Murphy is picking up meals for veterans.
It'll mean survival, bottom line.
Demand is skyrocketing as the government scales back COVID assistance programs and donations from the USDA and grocery stores plummet, stretching food banks to the brink.
They don't have surplus, well, then it cuts our supply.
In Ohio, warehouses are drained. They say it's the worst shortage in years, and pantries are rationing food to stay afloat. Few banks can afford to buy supply to fill the gap, and even that is getting far pricier.
America is transitioning from a pandemic crisis to a hunger crisis. The worst case scenario is that food banks will have to continue to wind down and even shut down food distributions that are vital lifelines for communities across this country.
And if sky-high inflation lingers, more families will need help.
No, you just get to the point where you're just going to have to go get it.
Janet Murray is raising her grandson, and for the first time, this free food is critical.
I guess more of it's going to be coming to the food banks. It's sad, it really is, but what are you going to do?
Now, Feeding America is asking Congress to increase funding to the Emergency Food Assistance Program and for USDA to send more supplies to food banks. There are reports that food banks in some places are on the brink of shutting down. All right, up next, are tariffs adding to some of those costs that we're seeing? Customer support is next.
Time to take another look at the tariff scorecard.